Every few months, a new headline hits the true crime subreddits. Breakthrough in the Zodiac case. New DNA profile extracted from 1969 envelope. AI algorithm closer to solving the 340 cipher. And right on cue, the optimists line up. They think that it's just a matter of time. A deathbed confession, a distant cousin popping up on 23andMe. They believe the Zodiac was just some lucky, socially awkward loner with a stencil kit and a hunting knife, dodging the law by the skin of his teeth. They're wrong. And the reason they're wrong is because they're looking at the Zodiac as an isolated criminal instead of the symptom of something much larger. To understand why the Zodiac will never be solved in the traditional sense, you have to look at the Northern California in the 1960s, specifically UC Berkeley itself. In 1964, DARPA, the Defense Department's research arm, funded a venture at Berkeley called Project Genie. The goal? Build early time-sharing computer systems, hardware like the SDS 940 and seen similarly through the Zodiac's own Halloween letters. Symbols that don't really make sense, but to a computer are completely decipherable. That could allow multiple users to interface with a single brain and computer simultaneously. Project Genie wasn't just computer science. It was the literal direct ancestor of ARPANET and the Internet. Now walk down the hallway of the mathematics department at Berkeley in 1967. Who's lecturing on point set topology? A young assistant professor named Ted Kaczynski, a well-known MKUltra abuser victim, if you want to call it that, and the future Unabomber, obsessing over technological control, living in the exact same geographical epicenter where modern networking computers would be taking its very first breaths. And out on the streets of San Francisco and Vallejo, a masked figure begins to do something unprecedented. He doesn't just kill, he demands real estate in the press. He forces newspapers to print ciphers on their front pages, threatening to kill again if they don't comply. Thinking about what was happening in that narrow 3-year window between 1967 and 1969, in one wing of academia, they're constructing systems to centralize human communication. In another, a brilliant mathematician is formulating his war against tech society. And on the front of that pages, a killer is training the public to focus on a screen of symbols, waiting for the crowd to decode his messages. The Zodiac wasn't hiding behind ciphers. He was testing user engagement. He was the prototype for collective psychological fixation. This is the part of the cold case optimists refuse to accept. The internet wasn't created to connect us or set information free. It was built because of physical terror, car bombs, nuclear warfare, mailed explosives, terror in the parks, and that doesn't scale in the press. To manage the psyche of the masses, you don't scare them into the dark. You put them in front of a terminal. You give them a feed. You let them monitor themselves while they wait for a DNA match that was never meant to come. And at the end of the day, it's probably why the case itself will never be solved. There probably is no evidence and no DNA that the police can reliably use. David Toshi himself basically gave up over an obsession with one waitress. While the rest of the case was unfolding at Berkeley and other places, as well as part of the industrial military complex, with DARPA funding it. It's no mere coincidence that Ted Kaczynski and the Unabomber were involved in MKUltra beforehand. They were testing how to psychologically control people in the highest echelons of society and their elite educated. Intelligence unrelated, they were pushing the boundaries in ways that most of you can't even imagine. And at the end of the day, it's why the case will never be solved.